Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly Sasaki and Miano discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about episode 6, Feelings. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder that you guys got a gold star. Look at how beautiful it is. Look at your gold star. And hey, if you'd like to get another gold star next week, then let's try to see if we can get to 150 likes on this video before next week. Like I said, I was going to give you guys a wee bit of a break from the 200 thing, so let's see if we can hit 150 likes before next week. You guys usually can do this in a day, but let's see if you can do before next week. Let's give it a try. So, let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode, shall we? Okay. First of all, at the time of recording, it is Valentine's Day. So you guys will see this the day after, but happy post-Valentine's Day, and I hope you guys had a good one. I normally don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but again, I have a partner now, and I brag about my partner about as much as Kurosawa brags about his. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, so I stepped aside to watch Sasaki Miyano because she ended up falling asleep. So I did get her caught up. She was going to join me, but she ended up falling asleep. So I was like, I'm going to go watch Sasaki Miyano in the meantime and make a video on it because I loved it. Because this episode is great. I loved it. It was great. I will say, speaking of Kurosawa and Tashiro, Tashiro and Kurosawa have a lot more to do this week than they normally do. It was actually really pleasant, like hanging out with these two a lot more than usual. Now, I've always been a big Kurosawa guy. I like this character a lot. So getting to spend pretty much like most of the first half of the episode with him and Tashiro was great. Tashiro actually gets to talk a lot. You might say he talks too much. No, he doesn't. Tashiro does not get to talk very much in the show. He's usually around for like one-liners and like a quick joke, and then he's kind of out. But Tashiro like got to actually chit-chat a lot. Again, didn't say much. He's a very like comedic character. He's just sort of like their goofy friend, right? Like, but he's a cool character. I like him a lot. And we don't get to see much from him, so it was cool to actually like hang out with him and sort of pick his brain a bit, you know. He actually has a really fun interaction with Kurosawa, where Kurosawa keeps like just bragging about his girlfriend. Who does that? I mean, honestly. But he just keeps bragging about his partner, and he's all proud of her and all this stuff, and how he does all this stuff for her. And he says something that will be interesting later that I think is very accurate when he says, like, I saw her smile and I thought, you know what, my whole life is just hers, right? And Tashiro's like, that's crazy, right? But when you are in love with somebody, and I'm sure all of you can attest, since, you know, most of us are, most if not all of us are over 18 at this point, judging by the analytics. Although people can lie about that, I suppose. But we've all been in some sort of dynamic with somebody, right? Whether it's an actual relationship or just a crush. But when you see them smile, you're like, oh my god, everything in my life is now about this person, right? Like, you sort of fall head over heels hard, right, at the beginning. And then you sort of balance your feelings out so it's not so one-sided. But everybody's been there, you know? So, like, hearing Kurosawa, like, talk about it was cute. Like, I actually thought it was really cute the way that they handled that, and Tashiro just being like so confused by it. And Tashiro even says to Miyano, like, you know, it's more than just like their looks though, right? Like, because if it was like, as an example, like, Miyano's got a cute face, but, you know, if that was it, he would have a hard time dating people, right? And Miyano's like, oh, thanks. very cool, Tashiro, very cool. If I might quote Nux, very cool, Tashiro, very cool. But yeah, Miyano's like, thanks, right? And of course Tashiro's like, I didn't mean it like that. Like, you're also a cool guy. Like, that's what helps. I thought he was gonna say, like, that's why you and Sasaki are so good, but obviously he doesn't, you know. That's a topic he doesn't really want to broach, and I think Tashiro's probably like the friend who knows the least, right? So he just doesn't approach it. But it is interesting because it does come up later, right? Like, Miyano thinks on what Tashiro and Kurosawa are saying, and he when he looks at his love, Sasaki, I feel like he does see a little bit of what Kurosawa's talking about. So it was nice, as I said, to get some Kurosawa love this week, because I do and they talk a lot about like how they met because Kurosawa got in the fight, and if it wasn't for Kurosawa, or if it wasn't for Miyano, Kurosawa could have gotten hurt a lot worse. right? Like, or Sasaki, not Miyano. If it wasn't for Sasaki, Kurosawa would have got hurt a lot worse. And it's funny because they're talking about this pretty much on the day it happened. And this is where we're going to start talking more about our lovely couple, Sasaki and Miyano. Because Miyano's my boy. I will say, like, this show does a really good job at making me, like, really root for these two. Normally, when it comes to romance, the chase is fun for, like, half the runtime of, like, say, like, the first season. But I would want to have seen them get together by episode 6, right? By bare minimum the halfway point, if not like after the first few episodes. I would like to see most couples get together. Very, very rarely happens, and sometimes it can drive me up the wall, because usually, you know, in some romance animes, you don't even... Animes? I can't believe I said animes. In some romance anime, you don't see them get together until the end of the show, let alone the first season, right? So it's, you know, sometimes the burn, or the chase rather, is the whole point, right? That it's always going to be a slow burn. And yet with Sasaki and Miyano, even though it is a slow burn, we're at the halfway point and they're not even close to getting together yet. For whatever reason, I find myself being very patient with these two. I think it's because of the way that they're actually discussing it with each other. They're not keeping each other in the dark. And I really like that Miyano is like telling Sasaki that he still needs time. You know, like that he asks for more time to think things through. He's not like ready to dive into a relationship. He's not ready to be like, that's right, I'm out and I'm proud and blah blah blah. Like, he's not sure about a lot of things right now. But he wants time to figure it out, right? Because he does like Sasaki, right? Like, he likes his senpai in a way that he can't quite articulate. It's not quite the same dynamic that he has with, say, like Hirano. Right, there is something special about Sasaki, and Miyano wants to figure it out. Right, like he wants time to, you know, not only come to grips with how he feels about Sasaki, but how he feels about himself. And I like that we're like diving into it a little bit. The one thing that I will give the show like a wee bit of grief for is they spend a lot of the episode talking about like am I gay or am I straight? Right? Like, and sort of bouncing between those two things, right? We're like, am I gay? And the character's like, I don't know. Both Sasaki and Miyano say that they don't know, right? That they don't know. They just know that they like each other, right? But they don't know if they necessarily like guys. Now, this is the first time I think I've ever done this, but I did go to Mal to just sort of see some other people's opinions, because I was sort of two minds about it, where I'm like, on one hand, I get it, because this is BL, right? So usually BL is written in such a way that, like, it's usually either, like, the actual sexuality of the character is left kind of ambiguous, right? So I didn't really care that much, but on the other hand, I was just like, how come they can't just call each other bi? Like, how come they can't just be bi? So I went, and a lot of people seem to be agreeing. Like, a lot of people on Mal, in regards to the newest episode, were like, it's kind of weird that they won't just say that Sasaki and Miyano are bi. And, like, the two of them being so confused by it is weird. But again, you have to keep in mind, in Japan, it's a much different story. You know, it's not the same way over there that it is over here. So you definitely have to cut them some slack, right? So, like, to them, to Sasaki and Miyano, they might only see it as like a binary thing, right? Like, they might just see it as like, you are either gay or you are straight. They might not really connect that you can be bi and that there's a whole spectrum like that. Like, because to me, what I'm seeing is that Sasaki and Miyano might be either like, I don't want to say like asexual, like myself, but they might be, right? It might be that they're gray aces with just a leaning towards each other, right? That they're demi, right? It could be that they're demi and they only really feel a sort of sexual attraction for each other, or it could be like that they're bisexual, but that they're aromantic, but only really interested in each other, right? There's a whole myriad of things that it could be, because there's so many friggin' labels and it gets confusing. Like there's like 1,000 labels and it's all very confusing, and that's coming from somebody who is like proudly in this community, and I feel like all of us can agree, like, oh my god, it's so confusing sometimes. So like, I get it. I totally get it. But I never felt annoyed by it. Like, I was, like, slightly, like, why can't they just say that they're bi? But it never took me out of the show, because, again, it's these two Japanese boys, like, just trying to figure out how they feel, right? And I want to really see them work through it. Like, I found myself through the episode being like, you know what, Miyano? Like, take your time, my boy. Take your time. He's gonna wait for you. Like, Sasaki will wait for you, I promise. And when Sasaki's like, oh my god, I touched him, right? I was like, it's okay, my boy. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. See, look, you're fine. You touched his forehead / eyes, and you know, you covered his eyes with your hands, and you didn't freak out, right? Like, you didn't freak out, man. You didn't freak out, man. Everything's fine, right? Like, I find myself really rooting for them, right? I'm like, it's weird. I'm in that mode where I'm just like, I'm full out, like, just championing these two. Like, this is my ship right here, right? And I'm just like, you guys, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Like, I feel like Michael in The Office, you know, where he holds Jim and Pam's hand. He's like, I love you two so much, right? That's how I feel, where I'm like, I love you two so much. You are two of my favorite characters of the year so far. I know the year just started, but I love you two, and you guys are gonna get together. I don't care if I have to wait like 70 seasons. I do not care. You two are great, right? I love it. I love it. It's great. It's great. I love it. And I don't know. There's just something about them that I just adore. I just adore these two on screen. I will say too that another interesting thing is the subtitles, apparently. Now, it's Funimation, and by the way, for some reason, Funimation is subbed to this channel. Hi, Funimation. And Funimation's player is, how do you say, ass? It's ass. It's really bad, and the subtitling is always really bad. There was one, I think it was last week, where like 3 characters were talking all at the same time, and the subtitles literally overlapped, so you couldn't see what was being said. So that was great. So yeah, the subtitling has always been bad. The translations are always kind of wonky, but apparently this week it was like noticeable to a lot of Sasaki and Miano fans, because apparently in the manga this is not the way the conversation went down. So apparently Sasaki saying like, I don't really like guys, right? Like, I'm not really into dudes. Like, it's just kind of you, right? In the manga, he has just said, like, I don't know, Miyano, I hadn't really thought about it, right? Like, so it's showing that Sasaki's not really, like, Sasaki's just kind of going with the flow more than Miyano is. Miyano's really having, like, a crisis about who he is and where he is sexually, whereas Sasaki seems less, like, panicky about it. He's just sort of like, I don't know, I like you. Right? Like, Sasaki is Miyano sexual, you know what I mean? Like, Sasaki's just interested in Miyano, whereas Miyano's having more of a crisis about it. And I think both reactions are totally valid, and I appreciate these two characters a lot. But I do think it's interesting that the subtitles are wonky like that. I would be curious if somebody at Funimation is aware of that, or... Because the thing with a lot of the subtitling gig is like, it's not like Crunchyroll's innocent either, nor Netflix, and like when you're translating, your own biases are going to be kind of like slipped in there by accident, so it's understandable. I don't think they're doing like a god awful job, but given that, you know, it's not a free service, kind of not great. not great. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Sasaki and Miano subtitling issue. If you noticed it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm not gonna lie, it was a very soft episode, it was a very gentle episode, not a whole lot going on, but it was fun, and I enjoyed it, as per usual. So, yeah. I want to see these two kiss. Like, real bad. I know that's not gonna happen for a while, but the fact that Sasaki is able to start touching Miyano, like, giving him head pats and stuff without freaking out, that's a good sign. Miyano's still thinking about his feelings, that's good. I just want Miyano to say yes, dang it. Just say yes. Say yes to the, not dress, say yes to the finely dressed man. That is Sasaki. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. My jokes are getting bad. Outro. And there you have it, everybody. That is gonna wrap it up for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AnyTube know that you are here. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our Discord so that you can actually be notified when new videos go up. And of course, you'll also be notified when we're streaming over on the other website that starts with a D. On top of being the best way to get notified for new videos, it's also a good place to discuss with fellow anime fans and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and join us over on the Discord, link down in the description. Also linked to the description is our Patreon page, and that, along with the join button right beside the sub button, are great ways to help keep this channel afloat. You will find our Patreon page for as little as $1. You can help keep this channel running. And of course, a big thank you I have to give to our masters of masters, the true legends, Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for being so freaking cool. I really love and appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support of this channel. And if you too would like to have your name shouted out at the end of videos, once again, go check out that Patreon link in the description or hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out a ton. And that's it for me. So until next time, clean your room. Just trust me, a clean room is a clean mind. Maybe do some Tai Chi. Maybe drink lots of water and brush your teeth. And yeah, have a good day. Bye.